they had like this whole slow motion scene that I can tell that they're really trying to draw you in and say like, this is so sad and I can't believe this happened. And the whole time I'm just like, I don't care.
The Season 2 trailer for Rings of Power is finally out, and we are so excited to react to it. We're excited to watch it. I personally enjoyed Season 1. I had some complaints, but I did enjoy it. I think they did a good cinematic job.
Really? Well, I'm hoping for a big recovery for Season 2 because I thought Season 1 was so bad that I didn't even finish. I think it was just one more episode that I had. And I just can't get myself to like, well, I'll get to it someday. And I don't have a show to watch right now, Jaden. And I'm still not coming back to Season 1.
You might have some interesting stuff coming at you in that last episode if you haven't seen it yet. But,
I've heard some things, but we'll see. Honestly, this trailer is probably going to tell me exactly what happens. So
that's all you need to know.
We'll see. We'll see. Well, let's see what's like.
Ready? Let's dive into it. Okay, here we go.
Sauron sees himself as master of all Middle-earth.
Well, that's shocking.
He seeks to rule it not only through conquest, but by bending the minds of all its peoples to his own. And for that he needs not armies.
No!
But rings.
In choosing to wear those rings, you have all become his collaborators.
I know you believe this ring is deceiving me, but I believe it is guiding me.
All this may be by his design.
These rings may be how he attains power.
They must be destroyed.
We will discuss the rings once you have answered the question. Who is this man?
He is no man. He deceived me. He is Sauron.
Both lean in. We're like, what?
Hold on.
What am I to call you?
A sharer of gifts. Our work begins now.
I have walked across mountains and deserts to help my friend find his destiny. One the fate of the world may depend on.
Is it my task to stop the fire? Is it my task to face Sauron?
This is Tom Bombadil.
To try and cheat death?
What is this
Might lead to an even greater catastrophe.
Father, take off the ring.
I'm afraid, Durin.
Every soul in Middle-earth is in peril. Will you abandon them to their doom?
No, what have you done to me?
Leave Sauron to me.
Promise me, Elrond. You will not stop until he is destroyed.
Forgiveness takes an age. I need your axe, old friend.
Fight with me. Fight with our friends!
When the darkness falls, there are always some who rise forth and shine. You will give me the nine.
Interesting.
Wow.
Okay, who was the wizard dude that had woken up from the first season? Do we remember?
Oh, the guy that fell into... Yes, we do know that.
The not Gandalf. Because he wasn't Gandalf. He couldn't have been. Is he Gandalf? No, he's not Gandalf.
Well,
There's no
they definitely insinuate that. If not,
by the end?
yeah.
What? I thought they were gonna go like another route, like with him being one of the other wizards or whatever.
It's pretty. If I remember correctly, it's a little confusing.
Yeah.
But they do insinuate that.
I heard that he was
You
going to
really
be.
need to see the last
I know.
episode.
I will watch the last episode. Especially after seeing this, because I had heard that he was either one of the other wizards or somebody. I'd heard that he was Tom Bombadil. I can't say his name right now.
I don't even know who you're talking about.
Okay. It's in the Fellowship of the Ring. It's very important.
Okay, got
Actually,
it.
it might be in the Two Towers, but either way,
that important.
Yeah,
Got
it is. It's only in the books. He's not in the movies. So anyway,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, what did you think?
As far as the trailer is
Yes.
concerned, I thought it does not lack for epicness in any stretch. That's a lot more, I think, actual scope than they had in the first season. Like the first season, one of my biggest complaints with that whole season is like it was very much we're gonna use 80% of our screen time just kind of following these guys meandering through the forest, and then a couple zingers in the episode, and you're just like, okay, that was like a lot of time spent to get that little piece of information. This feels a lot more on the epic scale of Lord of the Rings, where it's like massive battles with huge amounts of people and like actual stakes involved. I think it has a lot more potential considering how it feels closer to Lord of the Rings original.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting story, right? The whole story about how everyone gets the rings of power in the first place and how,
but that they know that there's one ring that's
right,
more powerful than theirs.
Right.
Is it worth taking up the ring that has power, knowing that it's somehow linked to this super powerful ring that's evil?
Yeah.
That's an interest. I like the idea.
It's a really good idea. Just last season was just such a slog to get through.
Yeah.
The whole time it was just super, super slow. And I'm fine with slow movies. I don't really care. But it was so slow that nothing really ever happens in the first season. And I felt like they were focusing so much on just making it like, we're gonna make this so awesome and so like deep. And
It was not that awesome.
And
though.
they were trying.
This trailer is more awesome than any of those episodes were.
It was just a try hard. It felt like they were just trying so hard. I don't know. There's so
It's
many
gotta be a
things.
fine
That just
line.
felt,
It's got to be a fine line because you want them to try hard, but you don't want them to seem like they're trying hard.
I know. It's just different. It's kind of the same way as the Hobbit movies were compared to the Lord of the Rings movies for me. Did not like the Hobbit movies.
Interesting.
Love the original Lord of the Rings movies. The Lord of the Rings movies just feel like grittier. Like they just the way that they're filmed feels more real. The way that like the style, and I get it. The Hobbit's more happy, more like fanciful book than like Lord of the Rings takes on a more serious tone, just like the movies do. But the Hobbit went way too far the other direction and just making it just like, here's a bunch of CGI and here's all these things that we're just gonna like happy-go-lucky do things. I don't know. It just didn't really work for me. And I feel like the Rings of Power was a little bit the same way with just tons of CGI. We're going to make crazy action scenes with people doing all sorts of flips and crazy like roles that are completely unnecessary.
So the action scenes I had a problem with as well, but it's not the fact that there's like a ton of flips and stuff. It's like all of that effort into a completely inconsequential fight.
Yeah.
Like it was literally like trolls came upon them in the woods while they were camping. Like, yeah, they don't want to die, but there's no like stakes other than that. It's just like, hopefully they don't die.
Yeah.
And they made this
bummer.
like 10-minute fight scene. You're like, that was a waste of my time.
Now this is coming back to me because it's been a couple years since I've seen this, and I remember being so bothered that characters did die in the first one, and I literally looked over at my wife. I'm like, I don't know why I should care that person died, and they tried to make it a really big deal, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this elf just died when he was trying to escape from all of the orcs. Or I guess are they orcs in this one, or are they?
I think so.
Yeah. It was before orcs, though. I can't remember, but maybe it was just goblins.
They seem a whole lot like orcs.
I know, but there's like a transition period.
Okay, sure.
There's differences. But anyways, all the Lord of the Rings nerds are going to get me in the comments. So back me up on if you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, they escape and like some guy gets like shot up with arrows, and they have like this whole slow motion scene that I can tell that they're really trying to draw you in and say like, this is so sad and I can't believe this happened. And the whole time I'm just like, I don't care. I have no idea who this person is. I don't know why I should feel sad for them. I don't understand why this is a big deal. They just did an awful job selling the characters and selling the story, and that's what this needs to turn around. This needs to make sure it sells those things in a much better way than it did before.
So let's assume that they do take that advice, even though they've already filmed it. But they go ahead and they say, okay, now we've established the characters. Because they did meander on their way to establishing the characters. That much was clear. Like, well, one of the things with the first season,
except for the main characters, you know Galadriel like really well.
Yeah.
And
But I'm
Elrond.
saying one of the critiques that I had, and again, I thought it had potential. The first season,
Yeah.
that was my feeling of it. But one of the big things that I disliked is just how they didn't seem to give you enough information for you to want to continue the story. Like they were so like holding back with little pieces of information. Like, who could this be? Who could this be? Okay, it's been 7 episodes.
Oh.
Just tell me who it is.
Yeah.
Like at this point, I'm about to say I don't care. It's just you can't hold that type of information for too long. You think about a show like Lost, where there's a lot of big reveals, and you're like, oh my goodness, I had no idea. But the story moves while you're learning that stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like, I'm at a deadlock here. I don't know who this is, and I'm struggling to care about who they are because it's taken so long.
Oh yeah.
But now we know. So hopefully season 2 takes that and they say, you know the characters, you understand like the ring situation with who's got the rings. I do feel like they gave us a whole lot of plot information in that trailer.
Yeah, they told you too much.
Like a lot.
Like you've already seen the season before you've seen it.
Yeah, well, like when the hobbits or hobbit-like people go on that journey across the deserts, and like I already knew they were going to do this. So that whole episode's kind of a throwaway for me now.
That is true.
That was the end of it right there. And you're like, okay, well, now I don't need to see them.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like that trailer was as long as a Lord of the Rings movie. Like that was a freaking long trailer.
It did feel like a long. It's only like 2 minutes 45 seconds. It felt long.
It was 3 minutes.
It felt long.
Wasn't
You're
it?
Right. It felt long.
I want to know. You got to go check. But anyways, while you're pulling that up and we're watching trailers for whatever, and we'll never know.
Yeah, we'll never know.
Never know. But anyways, I don't know. I'm encouraged.
3 minutes and 40 seconds. You were right.
Yeah.
3 minutes and 40 seconds.
Long trailer. I don't know. I'm encouraged. It looks good. It looks exciting. So maybe that they've picked up the pace a little bit.
That's promising that you're encouraged, because you definitely did not like season 1.
No, like I said, just not a fan of it. So.
Well, they spoiled the last episode for you in the first 10 seconds of that trailer.
Oh yeah, so we will talk about this for a second. As you may know, we are massive Brandon Sanderson fans, and so we talk a lot about him and his stuff, his books.
Yep, all of his content.
Yes, I listened to a podcast by Brandon Sanderson. They were talking about the Rings of Power episode by episode as they were watching it, and on the very first episode, when you first see that guy who ends up being Sauron. He appears out of nowhere, out of the water, and he's like, "Hey, I'm in trouble. Like, come save me, or whatever." That's how they find him, right?
Yeah, he's on a raft, I think, or something.
From that very first episode, Sanderson's like, "That's Sauron." I'm like, "How in the world did you get that from the beginning? Did you figure it out that fast?"
I did not figure it out.
Yeah,
that fast.
he's like, this guy came out of nowhere.
I did figure it out.
Yeah,
but not that fast.
Yeah, he had a weird like background that is suspicious, and like it's always a character. Like they'll give you one that you're kind of suspicious about, the not Gandalf character. Like, maybe it's him, and then give you a guy who you're not suspectful at all, and
try and flip it on its head.
He's like, that 100% is Sauron. He said it from the very beginning. It was awesome.
Hilarious.
I was one of the greatest.
I love that
predictions I've ever seen.
It was one of those where I'm like, okay, it's pretty obvious that that's Sauron. Like multiple episodes before they revealed it, because it's just like,
well, he's got that bag around his neck, right?
It's not even just like, it's the way he acted. And like, why is he just getting access to all of this stuff with the elves and with everything? Like, no one knows who this guy is.
Yeah. And then he beats the crap out of those guys too. This is all coming back to me.
It's all coming back.
Yeah. So it wasn't actually a big spoiler for me when I saw that, because I already knew from Sanderson. I'm like, oh yeah, it's totally that guy. So
yeah, but on the topic of them giving us way too much information, that's the type of thing where I'm just like, you probably could have done with less and just made a shorter trailer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's the worst when they try to get you so hyped about a movie that they feel like they have to tell you everything about it, which is going to make me like the movie or TV show less overall. I don't know. I don't know how to describe that. It's just not worth it.
Yeah. Would you be willing to give a pre-rating to the series?
A
that then
pre-rating.
could be proven right or wrong once we watch it, based on the trailer alone.
Okay, if I rated the first season a 5 out of 10,
okay,
I would give this, I'm betting it's going to be a 6 out of 10.
Interesting. I had a similar, so I asked the question because I had thought about this, and I'm like, I had the first season at a 6.5.
Uh-huh.
Like, if I had the first season at a 6.5, I'd probably say, I think this has potential to be a 7.5.
Yeah.
Right above, like, I would recommend it because it's good.
Interesting.
But they're going to have to live up to that. They're going to have to live up to it. They're going to have to show us that they can actually create a story that I'm interested in along the whole stretch and not just wait for 5 episodes to get the information you're looking for. That's just not going to cut it anymore.
Yep. Agree.
Well, hopefully you guys enjoy it. I don't know if you haven't seen the trailer. Let us know what you thought about it. I want to see what other people's reactions are, whether you have seen the first series, if you haven't, if you've read Lord of the Rings, if you've seen the movies, all of that stuff is useful. I'm just curious what other people think.
I'm clearly got homework to finish the last episode before I see this. I think we're going to be watching this. Watch for our reactions on what we think about this.
Don't forget to subscribe so you see those when they come out.
Yep. Like and subscribe and get the perspective from your everyday readers on next chapter.
That's us. We'll see you in the next chapter.